All right, back at it now. So 33 Democrat senators have sent a letter to non-union automakers urging neutrality to unionization. Yep, 33 U.S. senators urging. The letter sent to the head of Tesla, Rivian, Lucid, BMW, Honda, Hyundai, Mazda, Mercedes, Nissan, Subaru, Toyota, Volkswagen, and Volvo. Yeah. Mark Mix, president of the National Right to Work Committee, 2.8 million member public policy organization, joining me now. Mark, welcome back.
Steve, good to be with you. Just another day in the United States senators and politicians trying to put their finger on the scale in favor of forced unionism. You know, all those companies that you just read off are all operating in right-to-work states where workers get to choose whether or not they want to pay union dues or fees. That's not good enough for the UAW and for these 33 U.S. senators. In fact, this is a specific organizing campaign on behalf of the United Auto Workers. And what the demand is, Steve, is that everyone just sit down and shut up until the UAW can get enough cards signed or enough arms twisted to basically go to the National Labor Relations Board and say we represent a majority of these workers, and then everyone will be in the union. It'll be all hunky-dory.
Do you think it just handicap this for me? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 companies I named, apparently, right? Well, handicap that. Do you think you can really get 14 companies to capitulate and give in to unions? Because I don't think you can. And in fact, I think people like Tesla and Elon Musk might just say, well, then we'll just close. We'll just close. Yeah. I mean, some of these people have, the guts to do that. So we're not playing that game, right?
Well, I guess that's right, Steve, but if you want to be, look, the government has mandated that we transition to electric vehicles by some certain date out in the future, even though they don't sell and every company that makes them loses money on them right now, maybe except for Tesla. But the bottom line here is that in order to get the federal money, this is the old drug addict trick. We give you free drugs for the first month, and once you get addicted, then when you come back and say you want some more, then now there comes with a price, and that's what this is all about. The senators referenced the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, which is one of the primary funding vehicles for the startup money to build EV plants and to transition to electric vehicles. So if you're going to do that as a CEO, and if you want a couple of $1 billion or hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to help that transition along, to subsidize your cars so you can actually make a profit, then you've got to play ball. And what the senators say here and what the UAW is saying is, the minimum standard is you have to sit down and shut up and can't tell your workers about what unionization might or may not mean to them and their livelihoods. In fact, this is specifically about the United Auto Workers Union, Steve. This is an organizing campaign for a single union. I mean, I'm sure the Steelworkers Union and the AFSCME Union, the SEIU Union, and all those other unions that want to organize these automotive plants are kind of bristling a little bit that they got these 33 U.S. senators to sign a letter basically on behalf of the UAW and says, look, if you want the money, then you gotta sit down, shut up, and you shouldn't inform your workers about the history of the UAW and the recent history that you know well about, Steve, we've talked about before, of these top executives going to jail for stealing money from rank-and-file union members.
Oh,
they ought
yeah.
to know that before they associate, right?
Build themselves some beautiful, mansions and take all sorts of money, right? There you go.
Yeah. And that's what this is about. And so that's the hook. The hook is the federal money. And so hopefully these companies will say, look, we want to take care of our employees, which they do. One of the reasons why they go to the right-to-work states is because they give their employees a chance. And, every time there's been an election in one of these big automakers down in a right-to-work state, workers have rejected it. At Volkswagen twice, at Nissan a couple of times. I think at Toyota, they've had votes, and the workers have said no. And somehow politicians and UAW union officials can't understand that, and so they've got to put their finger on the scale in favor of government action to not get adherents, Steve, not people that support the union, but people that can be forced into the union.
Well, and the problem that they have, Mark Mix here, president of the National Right to Work, here's the problem that they have with unionization in America. It continues to go down and down and down, which is, I was a member of the UAW twice. Once when I was really young, worked at a factory briefly making wheels for Chrysler. The second time, though, when working for an NBC television affiliate, because but think about this. In 1970, there were 1.5 million members of the UAW. Today, there are 400,000, and only about 80,000 of those or 90,000 of those are actually auto workers. The UAW has been fighting to survive for years. It's been on a long, steady decline. And so as a result, the Democrats don't get the benefit of all that union money in politics. They need to refurbish the union so they can have that political money again. This is all about money, isn't it?
Absolutely. And a good chunk of that money, obviously most of it goes to one party. And, Steve, I think you've already defined who that is. But the bottom line is about money and about politics. And, you know, when you think about the UAW, to your point, I mean, I think over half of the quote-unquote UAW members now are in academia. They're graduate students at colleges across the country. In fact, Sean Fain admits that he wouldn't be the president of the United Auto Workers Union if it hadn't have been for, you know, the college student, graduate student assistants and not necessarily the auto workers. I think, you know, the election between he and Ray Curry was one of those ones where they had to count the votes for, a month or so or a month and a half to get it right.
Oh, yeah.
And shipping votes back and forth. But, yeah, you're right about the UAW, and this is about the government giving a private organization the power to do things that other organizations can't do, and it's all about, ultimately, the campaign cash that flows into the political system.
It's about money. You got it. Mark Mix, keep us informed, please. Threatening automakers, probably not a great plan. You know, that's just me. Probably not a great plan going forward. But I appreciate you being here as always, my friend. That's always a great plan.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark. You have a great day.